Hello, Munir Ajam, CEO of Uruk Project Management, and I'm the innovator behind the Uruk platform. This is video 3 of a series of videos that we are doing on organizational project management and the organizational project management system. Video 1 we recorded, just a brief to get you going. Video 1 was about OPMS and OPM and what's the difference between OPM and PMO and why do we need OPM and what is an OPM. Then second video we zoom in on the project management area and we discuss the 3 pillars of people, process, and tools. So here today I want to continue with that guideline. We said we have OPM. From OPM we do PM, and PM have 3 pillars. We have people, we have process, and we have technology. Today I want to zoom in here on the process area. And in the area of process, when we talk about, remember here when I mentioned in an earlier video, when we talk about process, we typically talk about methodological process, specific processes, stage management. There are many things that might exist under this term. But this is dealing with how to do things, right? And obviously people is who will be doing things, and technology is a tool that will help us. The technology is a tool that will help the people do the process. So in the area of process, we basically believe there are 6 components . 6 components of process that would help us as the primary component for managing project. Remember, I'm talking about the process here. I'm not getting into the people. I'm not getting into the technology, right? So we're not going to address competency or anything of that nature. So for us, and this is what we believe in, this is a perspective that Uruk Project Management follow, subscribe to, and developing the Uruk platform based on this philosophy that we are explaining here. The first aspect of basically we're talking about when we talk about the process, what do we need to manage project? Remember here the question about what do we need to manage project. The first one is what we like to call PLC management. We need to follow a methodological process. Basically for us, if you are a project owner, you want to manage project from ideation and concept all the way into operation and end users, right? We want to look at this holistic aspect of project management. We must start with a defined, tailored, customized project life cycle. So the first thing we do is we need to develop a methodological process, a method, ideally what we like to call it in Uruk platform, a tailored method that fit the industry you're in, depend on what type of project you're managing. If you manage marketing versus event versus technology versus pharmaceutical or oil and gas, you need to have that method. And that method is the process. Start with, or its foundation, is a tailored project life cycle. So that is the first component in establishing a process, a method for managing project. Now, when we talk about project life cycle, we will explain in future videos. We will end up maybe spending specific, creating maybe a video for each of these topics. So I will be elaborating on that in a future video. For today, what we want to zoom in is that, okay, all I need to explain now, a PLC, when we talk about project life cycle, typically it means it's divided into stages. So the project life cycle from inception all the way to operation, that whole time span, which could be weeks or a year, depend on the nature of the project, is typically divided into time slots that are called stages, where every stage has an output. So in order for us to deliver projects successfully, we need to do stage management. Meaning what? Meaning every stage on that life cycle, we have to manage it. Because if we don't end up delivering a successful stage that could affect success of the project. So we need to do stage management. How do we do it? Typically using something like the process group from PMI or ISO. Again, future video, we can elaborate on this further. So we design a life cycle for the project, which includes stages, and then we need to manage every stage. So there have to be a process of stage management. It's like basically the stage in this case will become like a mini or small project within the project. In addition to stage management, now let's zoom in on what's inside a stage. And what is inside a stage, typically there is some work that needs to be done. And at the end of the stage, we need to deliver something called stage deliverable. A stage deliverable is typically the result, the output of a stage. So for example, if the stage is a feasibility study stage, that means the output will be, we would have, during the stage, we would work on developing a feasibility study, conducting the feasibility study, market research, financial analysis, financial modeling, cost estimating, scheduling, whatever needs to be done during that feasibility study. But at the end of the day, when we finish that stage, we have to produce a report. Typically, we call it feasibility study report. If we are in the definition stage in Uruk, usually we produce a detailed plan, right? If we are in the construction phase of a project that has construction of a facility, the output will be the constructed facility. So basically, the stage deliverable is a document or is a set of deliverable, might be combined under one document, and that typically will be the result or documentation of the stage work. Now, typically in project management, proper project management advises us to have something called the stage gate process. So when we have this stage deliverable, typically these stage deliverable go through a stage gate, right? And depend on where are you on the life cycle, the purpose of the stage gate could be multiple purposes, multiple objectives for each stage gate. One is to verify the work that was done before is done according to organization standard and procedures and guideline. Two, typically authorize the next stage, right? That's typically the most common objectives of a stage gate. So for every stage, we need to manage it. A stage work will produce a deliverable. That deliverable must go through a gate, and usually gates are approved by sponsors or steering committees or executive management. So what else do we need to manage project in terms of process? We need what we call is the PM functions, right? What does that mean? Meaning that in addition, obviously, to managing the life cycle and managing the instant, because this is what I did not say before, maybe I need to pause and backtrack for a second. This is not only about managing a project. Remember, why do we manage project? Why do we do project at all, right? Because we want to produce some kind of a product, a service that we are going to use and operate, maybe to generate some benefit, not maybe, to generate some benefit to our communities, to our shareholders, right? So technically, we don't manage project because we like to manage project, although we do, right? We manage project because we want to produce product. That product could be a software, that could be a building, could be a hotel, it could be a feasibility study, whatever you want to call it, right? It could be market study. So usually, when we talk about project life cycle and stages and stage gate, a lot of this is actually part of what we call the product delivery, right? Because we are focusing on the product. So this is really, what we are discussing here is not only project management, this is a project management in the context of delivering product to market, regardless what that product is. So This first part, as I mentioned, the first 4 process components are about product, more or less. But in order to manage that, we also need to manage functions. Now, what do we mean by function? Scope, cost, quality, risk, team, communication, engaging stakeholders. These are what ISO called subject area, the PMBOK call basically knowledge areas. So there are these things that are happening on the project, and we need to manage them. We need to manage them as well. We estimate costs, we need to control costs. We develop schedule, we need to control the schedule. We define quality, we need to do quality control and quality assurance. We assess risk, we need to respond to risk. All of these things are happening, and they could be happening in every stage. This is why they are separate in a way, because they are there to help us manage the stage deliverable, manage the stage, manage the PLC, and even at the program level and the portfolio level, they exist as well, right? So we need to manage those things. Now, finally, what remain here? Maybe I need to leave some room for myself, is that PM function, I have to go back to that for a second, is about the things that are usually well established, as I mentioned, in the PMBOK guide, and PMI framework, and the ISO, and other references as well. But in addition to that, there are certain things we need to assess as well that are not often listed in project management literature. And in Uruk platform, we call these supporting actions. Now let me write some of them here. Right now, what we are including in this area under supporting actions, lessons learned. Or what we like to call captured lessons. Project funding. Project success. Performance management. Reporting. Performance chart. All of these things that have to be done, whether we need them to help us and guide us to find out if the project is progressing well and according to the plan, or if we're deviating from the process, from the plan, we need to take corrective action. So these 2 areas here, right? These 2 areas on the right help us with that aspect, with making sure we keep our eyes on the goals, making sure we maintain focus on the objective of the project, because at the end of the day, remember, we don't do project management because we like it. We do project management because we want to deliver product. Now, why do we need to deliver product? Because we expect benefit. When we build hotels, we expect to operate those hotels to generate profit. If we build petrochemical plant, we expect to produce some petrochemical product so we can use in plastic bags or carpet or whatever else we might need it to, or paint on cars, right? So we are doing project management because we want to deliver product. We are doing product because we want some benefits. So we need to focus on things like benefit realization, benefit management, and we assess that through things like project success. And in Uruk, we do have a project success model that look at project success from 4 different perspectives. Again, each one of these points I'm raising here could be a future video. So I do want to elaborate on all of these at this point in time. So to close this video, obviously we start with OPM. From OPM that give us the policies, the procedures, the guideline to help us that define how to manage project. To manage project, we need the 3 pillars of people, process, and technology. Under process, we talk about process or method, a methodological process for managing project. It has to be systematic. It has to be methodological. Of course, when we talk about methodological process, that doesn't mean fit in stone, complicated process. It has to be tailored. We focus on that idea of tailoring, customization. But that method in the process, it includes project life cycle as a foundation, include stage management, include the stage deliverable for depending on which stage you are, include the stage gate, and that will help us in the area of the product delivery. And then to support all of this, we need to focus on the functions such as scope, cost, quality, and we need the supporting action that includes things like lessons learned, project funding, project success, reporting, and performance chart. With this, I close this video, and we'll see you next time.